Last night, the Mets stretched just enough to get themselves a one-run victory over the Miami Marlins. And this group of primarily homegrown products now back above 500 will try and scratch out another one tonight in Game 2 of the series. At Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the Miami Marlins. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Keith Hernandez, Ron Darling with you tonight as the Mets play the middle game of their three-game series against the Marlins. Every once in a while, you get ace pitchers going head-to-head on the mound, and you get an extraordinary night like we had last night. Johan Santana and Josh Johnson both coming back from shoulder problems. Both showed last night they are all the way back.
Well, it was definitely deja vu. You know, just a great pitcher's duel. Two different types of pitchers. Johnson, just a bulldog out there with power stuff. Santana, of course, crafty in and out with the changeup. But the big key was, 11 strikeouts for Johan in 6 2/3 coming off the bat start. What I always love about him is that he mixes it up each time through the order. He pitched inside. He threw the changeup sparingly. But Josh Johnson, that was as fine a pitching performance from a hard thrower I've seen in a long, long time. I've never seen anything like that in a while, where he had the hard breaking ball. He threw power fastballs inside, and both pitchers just dominated both lineups.
That was into the 7th inning, and while the Mets bullpen did a great job from there behind Santana, the Marlins bullpen was so bad at one point that they did something that no team had ever done before.
Well, the real struggle is how do you match Josh Johnson, who ends up starting this with a walk to Lucas Duda. Choke comes in, and the real wrench thrown in this inning is that Terry Collins countered with Turner for Ike Davis. He walked him. Steve Cishek comes in, and he doesn't even come close on 4 pitches and walks the next hitter. And finally, Matt Dunn, who he really wanted to, Ozzie Guillen, start the inning. He did not start him, and he walks to Duda to force in a run.
First time in Major League history that a team had 4 pitchers, each walk a batter consecutively, and it produced the only run that the Mets would need to tie it. They got another run in the 8th to go ahead and win it. Tonight, a different kind of a pitching matchup. Two guys who don't have as overpowering stuff, but who are able to work very rapidly and very effectively.
Well, they're both good starters. Coming off a tough outing in his last outing, R.A. Dickey, of course, had to battle that rain in Atlanta, did not have a good outing, giving up 8 runs. And he's going against a guy that I consider one of the real great left-handers in the game right now. 41 games over 500. He's got a no-hitter and a perfect game to his belt and 162 big league wins.
Mark Burley with 11 straight years of 10 wins, 200 innings, and 30 starts. Very, very consistent. Mets and Marlins from the big town. All the action on SNY. by Geico, by Lexus, by Partners Executive Transportation, driving you around the world, and by Cholula Hot Sauce, the flavorful hot sauce with the iconic wooden cap. Hitting the road, take the Mets with you this season. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Mets out-of-market game live online and on your favorite devices in HD quality. Visit Mets.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. Let's take a drive around the majors presented by Cadillac. Michael Pineda, the Yankee pitcher acquired from Seattle, has a torn labrum. He's going to undergo surgery and miss the entire year. Damaged goods?
Wow.
Lance Lynn, first starter in the big leagues to go 4-0. Who had that in the pool? As the Cardinals beat the Cubs today 5-1. And Ryan Zimmerman got good news from his MRI. Has inflammation in his shoulder, but no structural damage. He's going to try and throw it tomorrow. Good news for the Nats, who are playing right now out in San Diego. The Mets and the Marlins. Jose Reyes, his second game back at Citi Field. Mets got the upper hand last night. They'll try and make it 2 in a row tonight. First pitch coming up. Ozzie Guillen ran out there last night. The only change in the batting order, Giancarlo Stanton hops in front of Omar Infante in the number 5 hole. But the Marlins have not been hitting. They are 13th in the National League in runs scored in what should be a whole lot better lineup. And tonight they face the knuckling stylings of R.A. Dickey.
Well, see that ERA has jumped to 5.71. Struggled in his last start against the Atlanta Braves. Reigned the entire game. Beautiful night tonight.
And we'll look at the New York Metropolitan Lexus defense. And, you know, Dickey's very, very agile out there. Fields his position well. Harrison out in left field today. He gets the start. Everybody else was in there last night in the same position.
Well, Jose Reyes steps in to lead things off, and he's going to bat right-handed against Dickey, something Jose always did against Mariano Rivera when he faced Rivera's cutter. And a rather tepid reaction tonight to Reyes after he heard mixed boos and cheers last night. More boos as the game went along. And Dickey's first pitch of the night is a knuckler in for a call strike. Reyes 0 for 4 last night, and he has really struggled in the early season. Just a .278 on base percentage at the top of that order. Little dribbler, and Dickey and Tolley picks it up, and Tolley throws him out. So that's the first out of the night.
Not an easy chance for Josh. That ball was still moving. He barehanded it nicely.
So 1 out now, Emilio Bonifacio, and he, like Reyes, apparently will bat right-handed against Dickey. Why is it that so many switch hitters bat right-handed?
I don't agree with that. It makes you want to keep your shoulder in, because the ball comes in floating and soft. You have a tendency maybe to fly open too quick. Batting right-handed, I think, would keep your shoulder in better.
I just don't think Dickey's a traditional just butterfly, floated up there, nice and easy knuckleballer. He's throwing that ball with some, for a knuckleballer, 80 miles an hour.
And when knuckles off Tolley's glove for ball 1. Interestingly enough, you look at the splits on Dickey this year, and his trouble has come against the left-hand hitters. So you would think a switch hitter looking at that might want to go from their normal left-handed side against him. And a fastball in for a strike, 2-1.
Well, last night, Dan Iasonia, third base umpire tonight, had a very big strike zone. I thought a good strike zone. Pro pitcher, and right there, Bill Miller gave a low strike to R.A.
Was that a curveball?
No, I think that was a knuckleball. Yeah. Just took a little off it. Get me over knuckleball.
Yep. Quarter turn, just the way they teach it.
Thought that ball was low.
And Bonifacio lines one right to Murphy for the second out. So Dickey quickly has retired the first 2. Bonifacio traveled with his bat. Aren't you supposed to drop it after you?
Well, when you hit it hard, sometimes looks good. And I really must have scalded that one, even though that was a soft liner.
It looks good to not drop your bat and run?
When you hit a ball, line drive so hard, sometimes you can't get out of the box. You know you crushed it. You hit it so hard, you didn't have time to get rid of it.
Did you ever do that?
Yeah, all the time. Especially when I was hot.
Here's Hanley Ramirez, who went over 3 last night. Hanley hitting at .250 with 4 home runs, and he takes the knuckleball for a strike. Dickey's only had 1 1-2-3 inning this season in his first 18 innings of work. Has a shot at 1 here with 2 out and nobody on. If he's going to do it against anybody, you'd expect him to do it against the Marlins, whom he has dominated. There's your umpiring crew. Dale Scott, the crew chief. Bill Miller has the plate tonight. C.B. Buckner at second, and Dan Iasonia, who had the plate last night, is over at third. Here's the 0-2 to Hanley, and he gets him with the knuckleball, and R.A. has the 1-2-3 inning to start the night. Mets come to bat against Mark Burley when we come back.
Nieuwenhuis leads off, and Burley misses with ball one. Nieuwenhuis 1 for 4 last night. Back in the leadoff spot again. 5th time he's been in that leadoff position, and Burley falls behind him 2-0. There's your Geico Mets starting lineup. 5 left-handed batters in there against the left-handed Burley. In Burley's first 3 starts combined this year, there have been only 8 at-bats by left-handed hitters against him. And now he's got 5 left-hand hitters facing him tonight.
Coming off a great start against Chicago. 8 innings, only 1 run.
And he falls behind on Nieuwenhuis 3-1. Walks are rare for Burley, only 2 in 20 1/3 innings. But behind the first man to face tonight. Ruben Tejada on deck. And Nieuwenhuis takes a fastball for a strike, 3-2. Burley doesn't throw hard, but he's got that classic lefties mixture.
Sinks it, cuts it, takes a little off, adds a little bit.
And he gets Nieuwenhuis with the sinking changeup for the first out of the night.
Well, much like Jamie Moore, and I would just say because he's younger and at a higher level, every time you think you're in a hitter's position, a hitter's count, he counters with something just the opposite. 3-2, you're thinking he doesn't want to walk me, I might get a fastball. You get a changeup instead.
So now Ruben Tejada, who was 0 for 4 last night, averaged down to 246. There's not a single Met in the lineup tonight who's ever faced Burley before. There were 3 guys on the roster, but none of them is in this game. Jason Bay, Ronnie Cedeno, those guys had faced Burley over in the American League. So this is a new experience for all these Mets. The one thing about Burley, he likes to work fast. Hitters will step out on him, and he professes to not care. He says, hey, whenever you're in there, I'm ready to go. And Tejada takes a strike, 2-1.
He basically doesn't have any motion at all. No. Ron just kind of gets it and throws. Pitches on the third base side of the rubber. Extreme on the third base side.
Looks almost like he's throwing batting practice, right?
Comfortable 0 for 4?
Way too comfortable.
Well, the Coors Light Marlin defense, and we're going to highlight another pitcher. How about that? That's unusual. 3 Golden Gloves.
Each of the last 3 years. Yep. 4-time All-Star, 3-time Gold Glove recipient, and his second straight 3-2 count to start the night.
There he is on the other third base side of that rubber as far as he can go. No back step.
And he strikes out Tejada with that same changeup that he got Nieuwenhuis with. So back-to-back strikeouts for Burley to start his night.
Well, people always ask, why does he pitch quicker than anyone else? Well, what he does is he's eliminated any of the steps that a lot of pitchers have. You see that changeup going right below the bat of Tejada. He just stays right on that mound. He catches the ball from the catcher on the rubber. He doesn't walk around. Puts his hands right at his waist, and he's ready to go anytime.
So you're saying he doesn't need visualization?
No, he's ready to go. Little slider here, strike 1.
Here's Murphy. Murphy was 2 for 4 last night, 8th in the National League right now with a .333 average. He just continues to hit.
Murphy's having problems with it already. Asked for time until he got in the box, a la Derek Jeter, and then just called timeout.
Burley unperturbed, goes right after him with a pitch inside that he pulls foul, 1-1. Burley's now 33 years old. And we mentioned it during the open. 11 straight years he's made at least 30 starts. 11 straight years he's thrown at least 200 innings. And 11 straight years he's been in double digits in wins. Just remarkably consistent. And he catches the inside corner. And it's 1-2 to Murphy.
And this isn't a guy we're talking about. He's had a perfect game, a no-hitter. He's led the American League in innings pitched. I mean, he's done some fantastic things.
He doesn't have, overpowering stuff, but what you're saying, he's not exactly a ham and egger.
That's right. 162 and 121. That's an outstanding record.
Well, this is the first time I've seen him pitch, so I can see right now he pitches inside to lefties, and he likes to throw the little sinker. It's hard to, when you get a little hard late sink down and in, it's hard to get the square it up. You're always going to pull it foul like Murph did right there.
David Wright hitting cleanup, hoping for a first inning at bat. Burley's 2-2 to Murphy, and it's hit in the air to left center. Bonifacio moves over, calling all the way, and bumps with Morrison, but hangs on to the ball. Morrison was planted and waiting for it, but Bonifacio trying to call him off and wound up making the catch. Both pitchers get the side 1-2-3 in the first. No score at Citi Field. MLB.com/fan guide for a chance to win a VIP experience for 2 this year at an MLB World Series game presented by Scott's, the official lawn care company of MLB. Is there any other World Series game besides an MLB World Series game? Logan Morrison leading off in the second, and Dickey misses inside, a ball and a strike. Morrison 0 for 3 last night.
We'll see that outfield position really bunched up. Duda and Kirk Neuenhuis.
The high knuckleball is fouled off. Usually that's the one that's more hittable.
Low, let it go.
High, let it fly.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Giancarlo Stanton waiting on deck.
So that's why I never hit Phil Niekro. I always had it opposite.
No. Just one of the low one.
But don't feel bad.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, you hit it once every 5th day.
Stroke to the other way off the glove of right, and Morrison, the first base runner of the game. So David making the diving attempt. Morrison with an infield hit.
Well, nice effort by David, and you got to just shorten up on those knuckleballers, particularly a left-hand hitter. From my experience, being a left-hand hitter, they like to throw that soft one on the outside corner. Why do they throw it soft on the outside corner? They want you to pull it. So go the other way.
Stanton takes the knuckleball down for ball 1.
I mean, you're always fearful of this hitter, but I think the way he's swinging the bat now, he's been a little tardy. This is going to be a dangerous hitter for Dickey in this game.
And Stanton takes a strike, 1-1. Stanton 1 for 4 last night. Still looking for his first home run of the year after hitting 34 a year ago. Omar Infante hitting 6th in the order, waiting on deck. And Stanton hits one down the right field line. Over goes Duda toward the corner, and it's a foul ball. Well, Stanton is not the only big home run hitter who hasn't hit a home run. Certainly the most notable one is Albert Pujols, looking for his first home run as an Angel. Mark Reynolds, who hit 37 last year, more of a hit and miss guy anyway, but he is without a home run this season.
He's on the interstate too, right? Mark Reynolds?
Well, where he spent a lot of time in Baltimore. Yeah. Strike 3 call. Stanton down looking, and Dickey has his second strikeout.
Well, Bill Miller has been consistent. That's too close to take. That's a strike.
Yeah, I think you can't judge it because it's easy to judge by Josh catching it. And a lot of times he's just trying defensively to catch that in the pocket. So that ball is definitely a strike.
Here's Omar Infante. I would imagine, particularly now with Dickey the only knuckleball pitcher around, that for an umpire, it's got to be a very difficult task to call balls and strikes.
I think the most difficult task is going back and forth. Maybe not so much with Burley, but if you had a Josh Johnson and R.A. Dickey back and forth, one guy throwing 95 and then knuckleball, trying to keep that strike zone, I think would be very hard.
Infante has done very well against Dickey.
He's another guy with a short stroke. He doesn't try to overpower the ball, hit it out of the ballpark. Those guys are going to give a knuckleballer trouble. In regards to the umpire making a call, it's got to be the same approach as a hitter. They can't anticipate any pitch. They've got to wait, probably a split second longer before they make their call.
Stay with it, I guess would be the way. Yep, right.
Infante not only has hit well against Dickey, he's hit well against the Mets the last couple of years. Now a lifetime .339 hitter against New York. Gets under this one. Neuenhuis's first step was back, but the shortstop Tejada will go out to grab it, and that's the second out. Infante, 27 hits against the Mets in 2010, 25 more last year. Since 1969, only one other player has had 25 or more hits against the Mets in 2 straight years. This guy.
Who?
You. 1979 and 1980.
I won my batting crown here in September. Faced Roy Lee Jackson, who was a September call-up in '79. I just left Philadelphia where Pete Rose was on my heels. And I went 1 for 4, and Pete finally took a caller, so I had like a 4-point lead with it was the last road trip of the season, around 8 games left. and I faced Roy Lee Jackson in the first game, I think, of a doubleheader. I never faced him, and I went 3 for 4 off him with a 3-run bomb.
Slow ground ball. Tejada comes in and backhands it and throws out Gabby Sanchez to end the inning. An infield single and a man left on to the bottom of the second. No score.